You auction off the right.
Oh, I gotta hit those buttons. Jesus Christ, now everything's a goddamn shit show. All right. We good? All righty. Take two. Hey,
We're
everyone.
back.
We're back.
We're just going to do the whole thing over. Anthony with interviews with everyday people. People are probably not being able to hear this now because we probably invited everybody and they left thinking, well, that was a bust. But we are back. For some reason, the audio wasn't going through Streamlabs, which is exciting, which I'm glad I caught 3 minutes in and not 35 minutes in. I looked over, I'm like, I don't see the bar moving. So yeah, if you guys like what you see, hit that subscribe button on Twitch. If you are watching the replay on Facebook or YouTube, head over to Twitch and help me get some subscribers. I will be game streaming tonight as well. I'll be playing some games.
What are we playing?
I don't know yet. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, but I'm getting real sick of it. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. I'm sure that this is not so much an interview, just a conversation. I'll say for the new viewers, it says interviews everyday people. But when I started doing this, I just fucked up in the name because I can't interview an everyday person. I mean, I can, but I'm not researching them. I think that's what people think when they're like, can I come on your show? And they think I'm going to go research them.
What if we do like a
Yeah.
gotcha version where we dig up a bunch of dirt on somebody?
Yeah, like, I
and
heard you
just
shit your
attack
pants in
them
the
on
third
it?
grade.
We could do that.
Heard you
That'd be
piss your
fun.
pants.
Don't do it to me. It was my idea.
I heard you're Randy who pissed in pants in the third grade. Yeah, we won't be doing that. It's funny though. But anyway, yeah, hit that subscribe button. We do have merch below. If you go over to the merch pages, everything's down there. You can buy a T-shirt or all that fun stuff.
Someone's saying hi to us.
Hey,
Howdy.
what's going on?
What up, what up?
Yeeza? Yeez? Yeez 06. All right. I like it. I like that name. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like I said, everything's in the links below. If you're watching now or on the Facebook, I will actually
You're
have
86 years old right now.
all of our social media links are going to be below us here. We're going to do that fun finger thing again. It was cool last time. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you guys want to give yourself a little introduction here, we'll try that whole process again.
All right, I'll go first again. All right. My name's David Lorenzo, and I'm actually from D. Lorenzo Photo. I got stickers made of my face.
Decapitated head.
Yeah, they're actually really awesome. The guy who did these for me, his name is Larry Graphics. I found him on Instagram. He commented on one of my photos, and he's like, "Yo, you want a logo or like a face picture?" And I was like, "Yes." So he made it for me, and he's really good. He'll do your face into basically like a real portrait character kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it wasn't that much money. So,
You can go check all that out on his social medias. Just D Lorenzo over on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the whole nine.
Oh, you can get his whole face. I'll show you his whole face right now.
We'll do the whole face. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I even got bigger ones of my face.
Yeah.
Huge.
That one's stuck to the table. I can't show that one off. But here, I'll show you. I'll show the camera real quick. Look at his face. Look at that fucking handsome guy over there. Looks just like him.
Unbelievable.
You hold it up, you'll be damn confused.
Yeah. I have a cartoon of my face. I'm not decapitated though, but it's a cartoon. I've been cartooned now 3 times since I started
Nice.
this podcast.
For 3 different people or the same person?
3 different people. I've been cartooned by Haley Stokes for the Interviews logo. I've been cartoonized by Tori, who did our new Not Cool in High School logo, and then I was cartooned by Ted Hazard for one of his Crust tunes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. He drew me with my missing middle mustache part.
Oh, dude, I can't grow that part either.
Yeah, I can never. I'm the anti-Hitler. I can never be evil.
I
You
get
know
like
what's
a little
sad?
dot.
You and I will never be able to grow a sweet Hulk Hogan handlebar because of
Never.
that one piece.
Never. But we can grow really cool Fu Manchus.
True.
Yeah,
And if it's long enough, you can just push it over your shoulder.
like in Kill Bill.
Yes.
I would love that.
I wish I had the patience to do that. I'm trying to grow my hair longer, so if I look homeless, that's why. So hopefully, if I can withstand it, I'm at that point now. I'm right in between annoying and then that other transition when you grow your hair of like, can I speak to your manager?
I love that I sat right under that light and I look like Mr. Clean. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's really bright.
The
I wonder.
the freshest my head has ever looked.
Yeah, give yourself a little introduction here.
All right. I'm Cheesefoot. I do some comedy stuff. Used to do some of the Twitch stuff. Meatball and I actually were talking about
Bringing it back.
doing it back once he moves.
Cool.
And we're actually still going to we're going to be in separate houses this time. But he said that he looked into it. He found out a way to make it work.
Cool.
So that'll be cool.
What I want to start doing with the thing, I have Billy, and then I have maybe a few other people, like making like a stream team where we can like all kind of work together and help each other with viewers and followers, and make like a little like posse.
Meatball and I found our niche playing RuneScape.
Really?
That was like the spot. People love to watch us play RuneScape, and it was great. It's especially great for Twitch because like with Twitch, people that are there, they want you to interact with them. The chat is real big. Like people want you to read their messages and talk to them. People love that shit. I love that shit.
Yeah.
It's the reason I like Twitch. So with RuneScape, it's so chill, and you just sit around, and you know, even when you're doing something, you're still able to read what's going on. You're still able to interact. So that was our move for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to stream Call of Duty tonight, or I've been playing Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's not a very fun game to watch stream, but it's more like I can chat really well in it. Like, hey, let's have a conversation. So yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. So you also do stand-up comedy. You were both have been on. You've been on interviews already?
No,
just banging beers
a couple times.
Okay.
Same here.
Yeah, you guys both been on banging beers. Your episode, we tried to develop film. We got very close. We were missing one step.
I forgot to heat it up.
Yep.
Big dumb.
We'll do it again next time.
60 degrees.
But I mean, the outline was there. It just didn't didn't have any color to it.
If it's black and white film, it won't have color. I could have honestly just left it in there for like 3 hours.
If it's black and white, it won't have color. You goddamn kidding me?
It didn't pop, we'll say.
It didn't pop. It had no contrast.
That's what we're looking for, contrast.
But I could have left it sit in there for like 5 hours, and it would eventually have developed, just from the fact that the chemicals are just interacting with it.
Yeah.
So that would have been a very long episode.
It would have been like, all right, well, we're doing it. We'll check in a couple of weeks and see how this came out.
Yeah, and you don't know until you actually add all the other chemicals at the end to figure it out.
And then we drank it. It was really cool. No, we did not. What do you?
I was like, did you guys really drink
Well,
it?
we drank the beer that we used,
We
but
didn't drink
not
all
the
the
one.
chemicals.
Not the one. Yeah.
We should have drank the
That would have been a
chemicals.
good time.
We could have turned into superheroes on film, on
Yeah.
camera. It would have been awesome. So what do we have here with your deck boxes? What do you got going on here?
So I brought some stickers with. I've been
Oh
keeping
Jesus
them
Christ!
in
I thought
these deck boxes.
I thought you were bringing fucking
No, I
Yu-Gi-Oh
just
cards
got
or something.
stickers in the deck
Yeah, yeah.
boxes. But
Good.
Yeah.
I brought them to give them to Anthony here because we're sticker people, as you can see by the table.
Yeah, the table doesn't have enough stickers on it.
And I also told everybody through my Facebook shout-outs that
They
anybody
probably
comes through and asks about it, I will happily send you stickers. I got a whole mess of them to send out to people here. So
yeah, everyone probably came and then they seen the first take and were like, well, that was a bust, so they probably all dipped. But we're back, we're here. Talk to us. But yes, so these are just filled of these stickers.
yeah, they're all just stickers in there.
Holy shit!
I figured it was easier to not get them all ruined to put
No,
them in
it's
the
smart.
boxes.
It's really smart.
When I went, I took them to my mom's to give her some stickers, and she was like, "Oh, that's so cool that they came in these little protective boxes." I was like, "Yeah, I wish they would come in those little protective boxes." I just happen to have these because I'm a giant nerd.
So what have you guys been doing with yourselves? What have you guys went to the wheel today, right?
We hit wheel today, maximum occupancy of 5.
Inside.
Which is interesting.
Wow.
So
So it's like 5 people and all the staff.
yeah.
Wow.
So we were the 2 of us at the table, and then there was 2 other people at a table, and 2 other people tried to come in, and they said, "Nah." I felt a little bit bad because I would have eaten a little bit faster, let them get in, But
Would they have the outdoor stuff set
yeah,
up?
they have some outdoor stuff set up, but
That was all full.
no, it wasn't. I just don't like the heat when I'm eating. I can't.
No,
be in the
that's
heat.
understandable. I think I can be wrong with this, but it just appears to me it looks like Yingling has been donating tents to all the local businesses.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
I mean, that's what it appears.
Wheel also is big supporters of Yingling. I don't know if they're, in cahoots together in any way, but
Yeah, but I mean, Roma has it. The Crimson House have Yingling tents. Like
Yeah.
everyone has these awesome Yingling tents. I was like, if Yingling was involved with supporting that, that's awesome.
yeah, it would be really cool.
Especially because they're part of the community here anyways.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
big part of the community.
I feel like they should be a bigger part of the community. You know what I mean?
You might have to get a little hotter on that mic.
My bad. But I feel like they should be more involved with local things because people here love it.
Yeah, I do know they support bands and stuff. You just
Yeah.
gotta. It's not easy. Listen, if Yingling ever wanted to support Banging Beers or interviews, that'd be fucking fantastic.
Could you imagine if every episode was just like, we're gonna drink a Yingling lager this week?
Listen,
That'd
if
be
they
really cool.
if they like, obviously I would take the support because I'm a fan of Yingling,
Yeah.
and like what I would do is like I would bring merch and just give it out to people. Like if I go to like bars or stuff, like because we kind of do that anyway because we go to a lot of bars and they're like, we have a whole bunch of stuff in the back. If you guys are coming, we'll bring it all out and just give it whoever shows up to the podcast. And 90% of the time it's Yingling stuff. So it looks like we're sponsored by Yingling.
An official Bangin' Beers / Yingling shirt would be really cool.
Like
it
a
would be
collab.
really cool.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
I would love that a lot. That would be cool. If anyone knows Yingling, hit them up. Tell them about us. I'd love to have a Chesterfield with Mr. Yingling. We'll say. I feel like it's
That'd be
weird to
awesome.
call him. Is it weird to call him Dick? I mean, everyone else calls him Dick.
If
I seen him,
like
like
came into my restaurant a couple times, and like whenever they make the reservations, it's like his secretary, I believe,
Yeah.
makes the reservations. He doesn't do it. The secretary's always like, he needs to be somewhere private in the back. He doesn't like people. He doesn't like being recognized. And he walks through the door, and you know, he just loves to talk to everybody. It's
Yeah.
really weird. The
A lot of
first
people-
time I met him,
a
I
lot of
thought
people are like,
for
oh,
sure
it's
he was
Dick
gonna be
Yingling.
terrible.
But like, if I ever like, I'd be like, holy shit, that's Dick Yingling over there. But if I came up to him, I'd be like, hi, Mr. Yingling. I would
Yeah.
100% do that. I wouldn't say, you know what I mean?
It's very professional.
Yeah, I
though.
got to talk to him a couple times, and he's just the nicest dude. But the way that they make the reservations, it was like, man, maybe we shouldn't talk to him.
Yeah, don't make eye
And
contact.
then you meet him, and you're like, oh, like you need a new secretary or something.
Super
Yeah.
secret guy.
So, what have you guys been doing with yourselves for this whole quarantine?
I spent the first month hiding because I don't know. I think I was supposed to.
Yeah.
Just spent a month inside and just didn't do anything. And then as you were slowly allowed to do things, like that's when me and Dave started getting back together again. 2 weeks ago, we went to Six Flags. That was
Yeah.
I didn't know we could do that, but we were able to do that.
Hershey
and
Park's open, like regular.
Is it cheaper, or they still have the same prices?
Same price,
It
I
was
think.
the same price.
They don't even give a shit. They're not.
But Six Flags had a lot of their rides shut down.
But they
Like,
still
a
charge.
lot of their major stuff was shut down.
And they're
it
like,
was
full
still
price
full
to get in
price.
here.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Well, I think we went on like 3 rides the whole day.
We
It kind of felt like you paid an admission to walk around their property.
Yeah.
I took a picture of the Batmobile. That's all I did.
Really?
And ran a Batman
Where
ride.
we rode Batman, we rode El Toro. I think that was it for roller coasters.
And then we rode, what was it, pirate ship that just
Yeah, and
rocks
we
back
rode
and forth?
the pirate ship.
Oh, and the
thing.
Joker. We did the Joker.
Oh yeah. So we went on 3 roller coasters.
I'm still listening. Go ahead. Keep talking.
They shut down Nitro,
which is one of the best.
King to Ka.
They shut Nitro down back in the '90s, and that's when WWE bought them. And then wrestling reference, nailed it.
Are we strangers or do we know each other? I've known Anthony here for probably what, like 8 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I met Dave through Cheesefoot here. I've hung out with Dave a couple times. So I mean, we're all friends.
Dave and I go back like 15 years now.
But
at
this
point.
this family of podcasts I do, because I do 5 other channels. So this is your first time watching. I do this show and a few other ones that you'll see all on Twitch, or Facebook or YouTube, or if you go to any of the links down here. But yeah, I actually met Dave through the podcast. So this podcast has sparked a friendship.
Yeah.
But so you've been doing the photography, right?
Yeah, I've been.
I want you to do a little Simon Cowell here. This is what I got. This is my setup. I haven't really practiced with it yet,
It's going to be a no for me, dog.
but that's
So what?
This is
What
my
this?
this
Do
is
I-
my
here,
setup.
put my cool- no. Okay, I wouldn't be able to see it.
That wouldn't be helpful. at all.
So basically, I've been kind of doing photography, maybe not professionally, but I've been doing it off and on for probably.
You take
about-
amazing photos.
I've been pushing it a lot more recently. I just got myself a whole lighting setup, like a studio lighting setup. So
I just got 2 of these.
it was a
Those are
hobby
not-
for him for what, like 20 years now? Or
oh, it's been
something?
a
But
hobby since like
professional-
high school, and then
Nice.
I've been pushing it.
Probably 5, 6, maybe.
Yeah,
7
probably
years.
been pushing it for about that.
Nice.
So right now I shoot with the Fuji X-T3 because I had a Nikon. Actually my grandmother bought me my Nikon, which was my first like camera, just like one of these.
Yeah.
She gave me like a weird kind of like a push. She's like,
Thanks, lady.
She's like, I will buy your camera if you promise me you will go to college and actually try to learn it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was like, deal, grandma. She bought me my first camera, my first DSLR, and I just went to college. I learned studio lighting, which is something I really enjoy, and it makes your photos a lot different if you can nail lighting.
Mhm.
Basically the tonal ranges are between shadows and highlights. You can play with it. You can do whatever you want to make an image look basically however you want, and then you can.
You can come in. It's cool.
Hello.
You're not on camera. We have it. Well, now your arm's in. Oh, yeah.
And then you can kind of be whoever you want. I come to realize that I take self portraits every once in a while of myself, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a scene kid today.
Yeah.
So I have a photo of myself as a scene kid.
It's great.
It's hilarious.
And
I can actually bring it up on my thing in a second. And then I did myself I put a vest on. I went to the thrift shop. I bought myself a gray polo, like a blue sweater vest, and I put that on. And I had a rusty golf club, and I stood there all like proper, like Victorian looking. And I actually hung that photo in Red Robin, the one I used to work at for 10 years. I hung it up on the wall. I switched out one of the pictures, and it's been up there for like 3 years straight.
And it's still
before
there?
they remodeled it. They remodeled it and took it down, so I don't know where it is.
They took all the pictures down.
So it's floating around somewhere in the world.
In the Red Robin warehouse somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably in the back. And they're like, who is this dude?
The
I always
dog,
want-
by the way, is Lady.
Yes. Where is she?
I got a chat
Yeah,
next
she's-
to me just
Oh.
in case.
Yes, that's Lady the dog. She's a jerk. She barks at everyone and everything.
A very hefty
goddamn
cat.
She just takes a long time to warm up to people, and every noise she hears, she barks at. But yeah, I always wanted to do that with Cracker Barrel. Like take a photo and then put the filter on it, and then sneak a photo of at a Cracker Barrel.
That'd be fantastic.
That would be awesome. Like right up on their walls of all like the vintage stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Like just kind of slip it on the frame that's already there. I think
Sure,
it'd
we
be
could
funny
do
to
that.
do.
We could make that happen.
Yeah, I think we should. That should be like our goal. We should try
Somebody
to get
just
that.
needs to cause a big distraction. We'll be all right.
with spaghetti or soup, like in Always Sunny, where they throw the soup or spaghetti in the air, and then somebody else
I'm
quick
gonna
runs
tie the
little-
waiter's shoelaces together. You're gonna fall face first into a plate of spaghetti.
and then we do the swap.
Yep.
The swap.
Perfect.
Yep. So what do you think of this one?
It's good. I don't use Canon all that much. So like to me, like all the settings are different on every camera. It's really weird. Like you would think that most cameras are very universal, but like since digital came about, like they're very different. Like on my
Sensors and stuff.
yeah, like all the sensors they're about the same for like certain like sizes. So if you get an APS-C sensor, which is a small one, they're about the same size throughout cameras. It's just the menus
Yeah.
and the button layouts are like completely different. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, every time I look at a camera, I'm like, wait.
So that's what I use for when we take like the photos at the end. Like we do like little promo shots. So I'll do that with you guys. And then I just pick these up, like a little bit of a zoom lens, and then I guess what they call the nifty 50.
Yeah. Personally for me, I shoot prime. So 50 is about the lens that I would use on a regular basis. And then I do go wide. So I have the kit lens that it came with, which is like an 18.
That's the kit lens that came. with.
Yeah, so I would use my kit lens, which is actually 18 to 55. It's the same focal length, and I don't use it at the 55 because I have a 50, so I don't zoom to 50, but I'll keep it at 18 so I get the wide,
Yeah.
and then I'll use it as a wide. I use it for landscape stuff. I took a photo of the diner, out like a local diner by my house.
I seen that. It was all at nighttime. It's all lit up.
I actually sold that to the diner, John's Plain and Fancy. For some reason, I got hit up because that was like the first photo I've ever had that actually went kind of viral.
Oh, sorry.
It was the first photo I kind of had that went viral. So like it eventually got to the owner of the diner's daughter, and she's like, "Yo, I really like that photo. Like, can I use it for my page?" I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I'll sell you a print too," and she's like, "Yes, please." So I sold her a print, and she has it. I don't know if they hang it in the diner or in the office in the diner, but
That's cool.
I gave it to the diner, and they bought it off.
That's
of me.
fantastic. Yeah, I kind of got it. I kind of got mine just for like promo photos for that, and then like if I go to wrestling shows, if someone's there, I can snag a quick photo of them, and then just kind of just to mess around and practice a little bit, and just kind of pick up another hobby. It is like I was having a blast with it before COVID because it was like I'd go to a show and go see a band. And if I've seen your band like 6 times, because I go support a lot of bands, so I go to the same shows over and over and over. I'm like, well, this show, I don't really need to be there. So I'm just gonna kind of take photos the whole time and just kind of try to capture moments.
Mm.
And it was the most fun I've ever had at a show. Like literally had a blast.
It's a whole new feeling at a show when you
Yeah.
get to take their photos as opposed to just being a viewer.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh my god, I hope that light swings back this way so I can get the light over his shoulder.
Mhm.
Like you're just trying to set stuff up like in your head.
It's real nerdy, but it's real awesome.
Yeah, I was having such, and I was like, man, if I knew how to use my camera, these would be a lot better.
So basically, a lot of it has to do with like a lot of practice. Essentially, like knowing your gear. Essentially, like kind of how like you know all the equipment here.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like that. Like how you know your mics and stuff like that. It's kind of a whole new thing. Essentially, it's a
I'm
whole
hoping
new-
by episode 100 I'll have this figured out.
Okay, I can give you some pointers if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Just hit me up or.
I would like to go out with you one weekend and just kind of mess
Okay.
around and shoot. I think it'd
As
be a
far
lot of fun.
as the streaming stuff goes, Meatball is your source of information for that.
Yeah.
If you ever have any questions, hit him up. He was the brains of our operation. For
Yeah,
sure.
this is kind of just a basic thing I have set out here.
I always told people he's the brains, I was the face.
Yeah, yeah. I'm neither nor. I'm just the financial backer.
The man behind the mask.
Yeah, yeah, man. So it's I like watching. I like looking at your photography. You do a lot of really fun stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been pushing it a lot. I've been trying to get a little bit more of like a professional way, or more of like a professional look onto it, like more as a career move as opposed to like a hobby. You know, like to try to make more money at it.
Yeah.
Just kind of do it financially, so I could kind of have that as like a part-time job. You know what I mean? And then like maybe do another job off to the side, or like I can choose if I want to work at a normal job or switch over. But it's one of those things that takes a little
Need to
bit.
get into that wedding life.
I have
Yeah.
one wedding coming up, actually.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get pushed somehow.
Stacia does weddings.
Stacia kills it.
And she's fantastic. She's another really good photographer. Like, is that something now? I don't know how it is in the photography world, but is it acceptable or is it common for like, say like, oh, like we just said Stacia, like, oh, I hit her up and like, hey, you ever want to go out and just like kind of work on something or just kind of mess around? Like, is that something you get that's common in that field?
Are
Or
you
is-
talking about like photographers hanging out with other photographers?
or just like doing collabs or going out and kind of picking each other's brain to learn?
Yeah, kind of. Actually, I do hang out with my one friend Christian. He's another photographer, and we basically like he has like people that he knows, and I'll go down and I'll work with them, and we'll just kind of like collaborate on stuff. Like I'll show him how like my lighting setup works, and he'll be like, "Yo, come down. I got this idea. Let's try it out," and stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
it depends on the people. Basically, some photographers in the field want to keep all their secrets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I worked so hard at this, like I want to keep my secrets.
Yeah.
But me personally, I'm gonna teach whoever wants to. I kind of want to get into teaching photography. I think, mainly because it's like I feel like I'm pretty good at explaining it, and I could show you if you need something like, oh well, if you just turn your lighting up this way or that way, it might help out. So something like that.
That's kind of what I've been doing with this is like I like to collaborate with other podcasts, and the more I can physically go to them or they come to me and they're like, well, what's your setup? And I show them my setup and they show me theirs, and then it's like, oh my god, I didn't even think of doing it that way. I've been doing it this way, like where they run into this, and this, and this, and then they run that into the recording process. I'm like, how much do you pay for all this stuff to get in the middle? They're like, oh, that was like $800. That one, I'm like, there's one board that can do that for you, and it sounds fantastic. And like, and then I show them like, so it's like they learn really cool tricks, and then I show them what I learned, and they show them what they learn, and you're just building each other up. So I do like, and I think that goes really with any field, profession, hobby, anything. It's good to like pick people's brains and work with each other and collaborate because I just think it grows everybody. Yeah.
I feel like you learn more by watch. I personally learn more by watching. So like if I watch you do something, like I'll be like picking it up easier than if I were to read it in a book.
Yeah. Awesome. So you guys have been doing have you been doing comedy lately?
So I haven't been doing any comedy because you can't do live things. I have seen some people doing
Like Facebook
like
Lives?
online stuff, and actually shows are just starting to happen again, more outdoor focused. So I do want to do something outdoor, but I did have an idea. I was working on it with Bishop. Bishop and I were talking, like I was telling you earlier, the online concerts for music doesn't really hit the same as being at a concert.
I agree with that.
And I'm almost positive it's strictly like fan interaction. It's all that
Environment.
there's not a crowd. It's all that you're not in the right.
It's hard
like
to hit
you
that.
said,
It's
not
it's
the
hard to
right
hit that
environment.
quality too.
And so, if you could find a way to simulate that environment, it would be awesome. We had talked about essentially like a cheer track instead of a laugh track to have to play intermittently when it's supposed to. When people are supposed to cheer, you could play the cheer track, and it kind of gives people the feeling that they're there. It tells them when they're supposed to enjoy something, because a lot of entertainment, whether it's music or comedy, is being told when you're supposed to enjoy something. Honestly,
Yeah.
are you a fan of Friends?
No.
I don't like Friends at all,
Oh,
but
there's
people
always-
love Friends. Have you watched Friends without the laugh track?
It's probably as bad as it is with the laugh track.
It's painful. It's so slow. It's like any sitcom without the laugh track. It's like,
Unless you're
was I supposed to laugh at that?
unless you're
'Cause-
The Office, and then you don't need it because you're masters.
Yes, exactly. But when you're told to laugh, you're more likely to laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's
we had
definitely.
talked about putting together a laugh track to do an online comedy, and we were going to do like a local laugh track. We were going to reach out to people individually and be like, "Hey, send me you laughing 7 different ways," and then just like put them all together. We like ho 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 ho. Like let me get like a
That really
really
loud one.
awkward laugh,
My dad has a fantastic laugh.
and then I want to do it terribly. I want to like make the laughs at the worst possible time.
Or just like keep them going longer than they're supposed to. And be like,
Oh.
all right, guys, calm down.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
relax.
I want it to be purposely bad. I want to take the laugh track idea and just kill it.
I think-
I want to ruin laugh tracks.
I think when it comes to the live music, I think one of the ones that do it the best right now, for me locally, I really like what Press does, because Press will have like 6 people, like they keep the compliance right of what you're allowed to have indoor, outdoor, and they let certain amount of people in, and that's your audience. That's kind of behind them too, like clapping or enjoying the music as long and with the people watching.
When people clap, when you're at a show and people clap, your natural response is to clap.
Yeah.
Like that's your cue. Like, oh, I'm supposed to clap here. So if other people aren't doing it, you're probably not going to.
Yeah.
So that's the downside to doing everything digitally, doing everything online, is you don't have all of those cues.
Mm-hmm.
We could get like one of those old school signs in the back that says applause.
Applause.
Or something.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Just
Just
like
bring
I
it
said,
back.
when you're told to do it, you're more likely to do it.
Be
that's-
nice
that's the
to each
problem.
other. Be nice to each other. I hope that works.
Everybody love
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Love everybody.
Homies help homies.
Always.
So we're actually impromptu banging beers here. We're all enjoying the last 3 cans of my Nimble Giant. What do you think of this?
Nimble Giant is tasty.
It only comes out once a year.
Like 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't have liked this beer at all. My tastes have definitely been evolving over the last couple of years. I shied away from anything that was hoppy.
This is what we call in banging beers a dippa.
Mm.
A dippa. Double Indian Pale Ale. And dippa.
Here was my progression of beer. I went, I don't like beer. I want the highest alcohol percentage. Oh, I found beers that I like. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't even know if I like the beers that I used to like. Like, I've been a big sour fan for so long, and sometimes I'll drink a sour beer now and I'll be like, my mouth hurts.
Yeah.
Like, my whole mouth.
Sours are tough, man. Like, so a lot of the times I score like beers on banging beers, I score them as a taster, because there's some beers that if you poured me a full pint of, like a sour, I wouldn't finish it.
And I used to
I'd
be
get
able
sick
to
of
put
it
down like
halfway
a
through.
6-pack of like
Yeah.
something sour. Like I would go get a 6-pack of Dogfish Sequential,
Yeah.
and I would put them down.
Mhm.
But now I'll drink one of them and be like, you know what? I'm done with sours. for
I
the
still
day."
like my dirt beers though. I like my, those really cheap ones that you get out like a Saturday night
You know
beer.
the best cheap beer you can get, hands down,
Keystone.
Narragansett.
Oh, Narragansett.
I love a Narragansett,
Yeah.
and it's no more than $1 a can anywhere.
I have 2 cans in the back, big like tall cans, and I got them because they were damaged. It's called Hemp Tails.
Yeah.
If you crack those beers, they taste like ginger ale, but when you crack it, it smells like weed.
Nice.
Really?
Like if the one time we were drinking them, I was drinking them with the podcast with Courtney Smith, not from T102, the tattooed Courtney, and we were drinking the beers, and Heidi came in, and she goes, "Weed in here, are you?" I was like, "No." I'm like, "It's the beers."
It's
She goes,
illegal in this state.
yeah. So
They,
that's
they have beers?
well, No,
Oh,
smoking weed.
oh,
Yeah. Like she's like, you're not smoking in the house, are you? Like smoking at all anyway. I'm like, no. And she's like, I'm like, it's the beer. She goes, she didn't believe me, and then I had to like had her smell the
Did you
can.
let a skunk in the house?
Yeah,
It's our new pet. Surprise.
yeah.
Have you had the? It's a limited release. It's Kona My Time wheat. It's
By who?
Kona.
No.
Kona Brewing. They're like Hawaiian brewing company.
Oh, it's
The
delicious.
new one is.
Where do you get it?
I got them from Wegmans. It's easily in my top 5 right now.
Wow.
It's a lime, pineapple, and orange wheat,
Okay.
and it's absolutely incredible.
Did you try the Yingling secret beer?
No, not yet.
They have a
Tell me
secret one?
more.
If you go up to the gift shop and you walk up to the gift shop and say, "Can I have a taster of the mango beer?" They have a mango Yingling that no one's supposed to know about unless you know someone told you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
They don't even have a tap for it. It's under the block tap, or it's under the like one of the other like it's a different tap. So
That's
she
awesome.
walks over to the tap. It's like, here's mango Yingling.
Is it a wheat? Is it a mango wheat?
I literally had enough to put in my mouth, and I was
Mm.
it. So they won't give you too much of it.
It's a bummer.
Like, just a little bit.
I guess what they were doing at first is they were filling growlers and stuff up in pint glasses, and then someone's like, "Yo, stop doing that!" Like you're feeling like people were taking growlers home with them, and like and they're like, "No, just small samples," but it was very, very tasty. I know it's the way you looked at this on this
Oh,
chat.
no, I just ADD. I look at everything.
Since I adjusted it, the frame rates aren't dropping, so that's pretty good, I guess. No alerts. Hope it's better. We'll see.
Here's
But
the open.
huh?
So here's the open.
Here's the hoping. Yeah, it's still everything's still running good. That's good.
Yeah,
It's so stressful when you're trying to watch
Next
the-
time I come up, I gotta bring you some of that because it's in my top 5 right now.
Okay,
Easy.
sounds good.
If you like wheat beers, if you
I
like
drink
fruity
everything.
wheats, it's
I drink it. You know what I may
incredible.
have in the fridge in the back too?
Hmm.
I may have Stone Cold beers. The Broken Skull Ranch beers.
All right, well, I'm putting in the bid to put somebody through this table. Right now.
Yeah, so when we ever get famous and this table goes in retirement, someone's going through it, and then we'll sell pieces of it, cut it up in pieces, sell.
I feel like I should not be the one that puts somebody through it because I've already had that pleasure of putting somebody through a table.
Oh yeah,
It was like a lifelong dream of mine. I did it a couple years ago.
like on purpose or
Yeah.
like was it voluntary
No,
or?
a friend of ours I was like, dude, I want to put somebody through that table over there. And it wasn't a real table. It was like they put a piece of plywood over 2 sawhorses to
Yeah.
set up as a beer pong table outside. And we were
Yeah.
at my buddy's house, and I was like, I want to put somebody through that. He goes, oh, I want to do it. All right, cool. Like we got all the ingredients already. I got somebody to put through the table. I got me to put them through the table. I got a table. Like that's it. Let's go.
What move did you go with?
Powerbomb.
Powerbomb, yeah, 100%.
Had to be.
Yeah, you got to break their neck.
He looked like he broken in half. I think I might have a video.
That's fantastic.
And then before that, probably a few years before that, they had like a weird joke. Him and my one friend Tony, they're like, "Hey, you want to put Dave through that chair over there?"
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm like,
I put
"No."
Dave through a table or through a chair.
I went through an Adirondack chair, but I didn't break it the first time. I hit it, and they're like, "Well, they're picking me up," and then they threw me again.
Was it plastic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a solid
Yeah, I'm
plastic
sure that
chair.
one hurt. You were bruised up.
hurt
We
so
shouldn't have done that, but
I told you no, but they're like, I'm the smallest dude, so.
oh yeah, Dave gets the raw end of the deal all the time.
Oh, I fucking just
Sorry.
missed it. Oh, you had help. Someone helped you powerbomb him.
Yeah, it was my buddy Kyle was like, dude, he's like, I always wanted to do that too. I was like, all right, perfect, we're good.
Double
let's do it."
powerbomb like the Shield.
It
That's
was-
awesome.
It was one of my favorite things I've ever done in my life.
So what else you guys been up to? What do you guys? Anything you guys want to talk about? You watch some movies, video games.
We
and
hit that,
topical stuff going on in the world.
That antique shop the other day.
Oh yeah, that was
really
actually
cool.
pretty sweet.
What'd you find?
There's this. So down by me, I live in like Quakertown, the lower end of Bucks County. What is it,
It
Mechanicsville?
was Mechanicsville, right outside of Doylestown.
There's this shop. It's called the Best of France Antiques. Basically, their whole setup is 19th century French antique statues. So like the entire outside is all these statues from like the 19th century France.
It's so cool. I wish I had money just to buy things there.
Oh yeah.
Like the statues that
It's
they
too
had.
much money.
Dude, they had like, you know how in like the mansion from Resident Evil, the first one?
Yes.
It was like everything there looked like it should have been outside of that mansion.
Really?
They had these giant urns. They're what are they, 13, 14 foot tall, just And they had a pair of them, and I was like, I don't know what they cost, but I wish I had a house that I could put them outside of. It was just everything was so cool, and they were all antique. So they're like most of it was like, rusty or weathered or
Could
whatever.
you imagine if you put 2 giant urns on your front porch of Halloween and pumped them full of purple and gray
I
smoke?
would love that.
That would
Like
be
that's
sweet.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I wish I had money so I could buy that whole property and all the things that were on it.
There was like a 40-foot tall giraffe or something like
Yeah.
that. It was like almost a 2-story giraffe on the property, and in front of it was this stone Buddha. He's just sitting there in like the lotus position, meditating in front of this giant giraffe. And I'm like, there's no other place you will see that.
The
except
whole
for here.
reason that we found it, we were on our way back from Six Flags the one night, and it was dark out. We're driving by, and I was like, is that a fucking Triceratops? And like Dave's like, what? And I'm like, I'm not on drugs, I promise you, but I saw a Triceratops.
Oh, is that where you guys were at and you took pictures of all the dinosaurs?
Yeah, I was like, you got to turn around. I was like, there's no way that wasn't a Triceratops.
Yeah, where's this place at?
Mechanicsville. It's called Best of France Antiques.
Hmm.
And we went back, and they had like, you could see like 4 different dinosaurs from the road, and I was like, we have to come back here in the daytime. So we made a plan to come back, and we went back, and they actually had way more stuff than we realized from the road at night.
It's very big, actually,
it's a
surprisingly.
very big
I
property.
thought you guys were a mini golf course at first.
No, this was just
Kinda could be
dude
that
selling
way.
them. If I had money, I would buy all of them, but the way my bank account is set up.
Make a mini golf course.
Yeah, that's all you could do, really.
It'd be the most elegant mini golf ever.
Yeah.
I would just keep them outside my house. I'm weird with dinosaurs.
They had dragon statues, like they were made out of like marble. They're just sitting out back. They were just like these dragons made out of marble. I actually have a picture on my phone of those.
Of just dragons?
And they had
Yeah.
wild peacocks.
Oh, yeah.
Like
roaming
real wild
around, too.
peacocks?
Yeah.
What do they like? Can you pet them?
So like here's one of the statues that's like on the property.
Oh, that's creepy.
Everything was just
Caesar.
beautiful.
Oh, these are all like, oh, that's dope.
Yeah, they're just like on the property.
Booby mermaids.
And there's like just random statues. Like see, there's the like look how tall that giraffe is compared to that.
That's crazy.
That was one of my favorites, Terminator style.
Just right in front of their front door.
No, it was actually hidden. Like we almost didn't see it.
And where's this
We
place
walked
at?
right past it. It was right outside of Doylestown. It's just
Lower
like
Bucks
on
County.
the border of PA and New Jersey.
I wanna do that. I wanna go.
It's
This
really
guy
cool.
was really cool.
Oh,
I don't know what that is, but it, just
It looks
made me
like
think of like
it looks like Planet of the
the
Apes.
third Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah.
And the guy is also in Weird, New Jersey for owning the largest collection of vampire hunter killing kits.
Yeah,
The same guy.
Yeah.
the guy that owns the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He owns the most vampire. They're like all authentic too, from like the era of vampire hunters. So they're all supposed to be realistic and authentic.
Could you imagine the people who were just murdered with the stake because they're like, "You're a vampire." He's like, "No, bro, I just
Just hang out at night.
I
It's
don't
cool.
like. You see how hot and disgusting that sun is?
We don't have air conditioning yet. Of course, I'm not going to want to be out in that sun.
It's just like you feel bad for all those like poor women who like were deemed as witches and were tortured. Like,
I just want to know if any of them like embraced it and were punished for it, or if they were just like wrongfully accused. Because I know most of them were just wrongfully accused.
most of them were wrongfully.
But I know a
accused.
lot of people who be out there stirring that witch's cauldron. Like, yeah, I'm a witch. What you gonna do about it? Come get me.
Oh my god! Or like the ones that are like getting burned, like, "I'll curse all of you. I'm gonna haunt you all." And then some guy stubs his toe the next day. He's like, "That damn witch got me."
What's going on, Bebo? How are you?
Bebo in the chat. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream.
Bebo.
Bebo. It's like Debo, but Bebo.
Oh man.
Do you know Bebo?
Oh yeah, of course.
Bebo's one of your guys.
They're doing Oh, I'm thinking of BMO.
No, that's
Bebo.
Brad, isn't it?
BMO is from Adventure Time.
Oh, I never watched that show.
Mm,
Sorry.
sorry, we're on
Sorry.
two different wavelengths.
Yeah.
He's
So
a
what's up,
little
man?
robot.
Two different kinds of nerds here.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you brought Magic the Gathering cards or Pokemon cards or something. And it's just your boxes filled with stickers.
We'll just bring out some magic.
I thought you were
start
like going
playing.
to teach me how to play Magic or something here today.
You want to learn to play Magic? I'll bring them next time. We can do it.
No, I can't. That was one of the arguments I got when we got hit up with the logo. I was like, the one guy's like, "Your logo was drawn by a guy who did bad things." I was like, "Yeah, and you like Magic. How many times Magic got criticized for their Satan imagery and their witchcraft and their stuff?" I said,
They actually, I don't know if you saw, they just had to remove, I think it was 9 cards from their collection. They're no longer tournament legal just because of either the imagery or the names of them.
Well,
That was their attempt of keeping up with the PC movement right now.
listen, man, I'm all about if something is literally holding you back in society, then sure, let's find a way to right that ship and right that wrong. But if there's just certain things that we're shutting down and canceling, I was like, come on, like really we have so much. People are legit dying, and we're worried about who's voicing a cartoon character. Like, I don't know, man. Some of maybe if there's a better argument, I'd like to hear it. But man, there's some stuff that confuses me. Like it's just like the like I always said, man, the extreme right and the extreme left are just, and then there's like us stuck in the middle. Like, can we just go about our days like
They would be friends if they sat down and
without
talked
you
to each other.
without you guys screaming at each other through us, like because they don't care about you and you don't care about them. But we're just stuck in the middle, hearing both your sides. Like, my God.
Because there's some of them have a little bit of like on either side. There's like a right and like some of them I agree with on the right. Some of them I agree with on the left.
And
There's
that's what normal people do is they listen to people's arguments and they say, you know what, I can get behind that. And then there's like, but like if you even say that, it's like, you what?
Oh, you know what? I just pulled up the names list, and I remember because I got yelled at for this because I was like, well, that one's not that bad. And then I was educated on it, and I was like,
Which one?
So let
me read it before you. All right, we're literally just talking about anything, man. If you have a topic you want to hear about, just put it out. Oh, maybe that was probably a terrible lead-in. Yeah, depending on what your topic is, maybe we'll talk about it. But we're just having a conversation, man. I know it says interviews, but this is more or less just hanging out and having conversations with your buddies.
So the name list is none of them are going to get you in trouble. I assure you.
Thank you.
The name list is Invoke Prejudice, Cleanse, Stone Throwing Devils, Pradesh Gypsies, Jihad, Imprison, and Crusade.
And well, I know, maybe if I shouldn't even say it, but like, I know like in the beer world, the term gypsy brewer is starting to become like, don't say that anymore.
Well, that's actually where I got yelled at for it. I was like, well, I don't know if, like, is gypsy that bad? And then I was told that that's actually considered to be like a hateful slur modern day, and I was like, oh wow, like I didn't even realize.
But isn't there people who are that like claim they are, and they
I always
like
thought there was.
Yeah, they're like
when I go to the Renaissance Fair and they're all there and they're like claiming to be gypsies. I never thought that there was anything wrong with that.
They were just like wanderers, right?
Yeah.
Like a gypsy
Well,
was just
don't they have
the race
in
of
Philly?
gypsies is like it's been they've been oppressed essentially throughout their history.
Well, yeah, I always thought gypsies were just a term for like they kind of live off the land. They make a lot of crafts. Like, isn't there something in Philly like the gypsy flea markets and stuff where like it's all and people are like, yeah, that's our thing. Like I don't.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was an issue.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was told
listen,
that I
if
was
anyone
wrong
in the
for
chat
thinking that
knows
way.
or you want to hit the report button before you do, like educate me. I'd like to learn about it.
So there's one of them. The wording of the card is
and it, but realistically, what that's trying to go for.
So in the Magic world, the card says all white creatures gain +1/+1. In the Magic world, something that uses plains mana is called a white card.
Okay.
Something that uses swamp mana is called a black card. You also get forest is green.
Yeah.
And island is blue. So and mountain is red. So it's very widely just colors instead of what it is.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be anything
Well, the
for
fun
somebody
fact
to
is
say all green creatures.
They say all white creatures, and then it shows people wearing, the Crusade Brigade, which is hilarious because they're all Christian. So it's like, well, where do you draw the line there?
So I can see why something like that would be considered.
But then it's the same people who say, well, aren't you just erasing history? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just such a fine line. I just think it's just to get to the point where, like, I think sometimes the left see something the right's into, and they're like, we're gonna take that away.
I'm gonna fuck that up.
We're gonna fuck that up. And then the right sees stuff the left's into, and they're like, we're gonna fuck that up. And
it's
then
always a bitter battle.
Yeah. Like, listen, like, there's some things that I agree with. Like, I think some things should be reevaluated and relooked at because maybe they just don't hold the test of time. But it is what it is.
So there's the gypsies one. That's honestly the imagery I would expect when I hear the phrase of gypsy.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
A dark-haired woman with a guy with a bandana on. I don't know. Whenever I think of the Renaissance Fair, I think those are the people I'm going to see there.
That and the band Go Bordello. They're Yugoslavian gypsy punk.
Yeah,
They might have even changed their name by now because of that. But
I have to learn more about that.
That's in prison.
It just looks like an alien.
Yeah, that one is strictly the name.
In prison is offensive. People are in prison all the
Apparently.
time.
This one I get. I am.
It's getting late here in Norway. Leaving here in 15 minutes. You're from Norway, bro? That's
welcome,
awesome.
dude.
nice.
Yo, we need to contact each other. I want to talk to you about stuff in the life in Norway, and I want to learn about your whole existence. So
That and they have some pretty good beers out in Norway.
yeah, man.
Like
Some
what is it?
Einstück.
Yes.
shoot me a
Just
message,
thinking
man. We could do like a Zoom call, and I want to learn more about stuff in Norway. And subscribe to us so I can definitely get in touch with you.
On Twitch, there follows. Subscribe is the
Oh,
dollar
sorry,
one.
follow. I don't know. I'm new to
I'm
this
here
whole
with
Twitch
you.
game. I got fucking 50 people.
This
But-
one you can see why somebody would be upset.
All right, what do we got here?
Invoke prejudice.
Invoke prejudice. All right. If an opponent
Look,
casts
just look at the picture.
Okay, but that also could be an executioner.
It could, but
He has a very pointy hat, we'll say, but they look like
he's-
Grim Reaper
it-
executioners.
It's a shadowy figure, so you can't see the color
Yeah.
of the robing. But
yeah.
Oh, like
I
an
can
old,
see, I can understand
okay.
why people might feel something.
But it's funny, man, because like the people who play Magic are probably like, "This is ridiculous," but then it's just like, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, because actually, I think executioners used to wear stuff like that back in like the medieval days.
100%.
They would wear like a black cloak.
That one was claimed because of the name.
Because they're devils.
Yeah.
You can't show love to the devils.
Well, I'm left-handed, so technically I would be considered a demon.
And
Yeah,
then
back
this
in the
another
ancient
one
times.
is
Yeah, they would have threw
the name.
you in fire.
This one is just
Yeah.
called Jihad.
Jihad.
I don't think the imagery is that bad on that one either.
No, it's just war. I mean, you're playing a fucking war card game that summons demons and monsters. I
Now
don't know.
this one I can understand a little bit of upset about the phrasing. This one is called Cleanse.
Cleanse. Oh, okay. It's cleanse. It's a sorcery card, and the immediate box underneath says destroy all black creatures.
Yeah, I can see that one.
But once again, the black creatures are like monsters. It's not saying
They're
it's not saying
swamp creatures.
it's not
from
saying the
game.
color of someone's skin. It's saying like fire was red, blue was water, like one of those type
Yeah.
deals. Yeah.
I can understand a little bit of outrage.
Here's
in
my
that
question:
department.
if you poll 1,000 people and 2 are offended, should the whole thing go away?
modern day, that's how it works.
In general, statistically, you probably shouldn't, but that's not how it works these days.
It's great. I don't. It's interesting, and I know that like some people have very sheep mentality where it's like if one person does it, we all have to follow. Once again, I don't want this to be lumped in with everything that's going on in the world because there are some things that people are fighting for that I do agree with. But there's some things I'm just
absolutely on board with most
Exactly.
of the things happening. Right
yeah,
now.
same here. Like, listen, statues they shouldn't be in front of government. I think they should be taken down and put in a museum. I think they should be like here's the thing: if you go to Germany right now, in Germany, they don't promote that.
They don't
It's illegal.
recognize that part of
But-
history existed, which is
well, no-
fantastic.
They do recognize it.
That
You can go to a museum and see all of it because they still want to say that this legit happened and we should learn from it and this is terrible what it was. And you can go see it in a museum. But if you are caught with it outside of a museum, if you talk about it, if you support it, you go to jail. You know what I mean?
I'm
Now-
a firm believer that it should be similar
Here?
here.
Now.
Absolutely.
Like
Now, here's
the
the deal.
statues go into like a museum to teach you about it, as opposed to like out
Yes.
front wherever. in
Now,
random.
what you're saying there, I just want to kind of play devil's advocate here. So you're saying we should do the same thing in our country as much as imprisonment, or
to the idea that it's illegal to be a
racist?
proud Nazi in Germany
Okay, but
versus that's you can just do that here is
yeah,
wild.
well that goes a lot with the freedom of expression and freedom of speech. So at what point is it? Listen, I agree. It's terrible.
You have freedom of speech and freedom of expression in this country as long as it doesn't infringe upon anybody else's freedom of expression and
So if you're
speech.
just living in your house, living your life, and that's what you believe in, are you infringing on people?
if you're keeping that in your house, yeah, that's cool with you.
Yeah.
'Cause you do you.
Now
But
here's
when
where
you're
here's
marching for that to be all right,
yeah.
that's not all right.
I agree, but on the like, here's where it worries me because I 100% agree with you that I'm not cool with racism, homophobia, any of that. But on the same token, if we turn around and put people or imprison people for hate speech, then if once you draw that line is going to then be moved and then be moved and then be moved to the point where we're going to lose those freedoms. You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about like the freedoms of expression
And
stuff like
speech.
that? Like even
Yeah.
if it's like your artistic freedoms,
Yes.
and stuff like that.
So, like, say if you want to do like Quentin Tarantino makes a movie about Nazi imagery and slavery,
Inglorious Bastards.
you know what I mean? At what point does someone see that and say that's offensive? Because we shouldn't talk about that no more. And then his art as freedom is now gone.
True. And Django Unchained he
I'm
did something
also
similar.
I believe that stuff like that used in satire is usually pretty educational for people.
I agree.
It allows you to have those conversations that may otherwise be seen as
Well,
taboo.
you as someone who's in the comic scene too. There's a big thing going around where every single episode of certain shows that had blackface in it are being erased. You cannot have them. Always Sunny did it as a joke about making fun of the reason blackface existed.
Yeah.
So they're using it in satire, but it's still being removed as insensitive. So like now we're putting the line that you can't do certain things as a comic.
I always try, at least with my comedy, to stay down the middle and not. I don't want to ever offend anybody because I don't want to. I don't want to upset anybody. Like,
Yeah.
That's not who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I'm very much an ally for pretty much most people.
You do you.
And
Yeah.
you do you is always like.
Yeah.
If you're happy, be happy. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. Like I said, I want everyone who's around me to feel comfortable, but I also
But also seeing that episode of Sunny and knowing that they didn't like preface, hey, we're doing this. If you just watch the episode, if you're not a Sunny fan and you just watch that episode, it's not out of context. It's not satire. That's just random blackface in that episode.
yeah. But once again, you have to realize you're watching a comedy. Like I don't know. Like there's people who are saying like if a comedian goes on stage and says something, it's like nope, they're done. You know what I mean? It's a really like it's a scary line, and I just like we should really like it should be something that should be thought of before we just pull the trigger on it. You know what I mean? Because if you go back and watch older stand-up comedy tapes that people think are some of the greatest of all time, they would not fly today. Eddie Murphy, Raw and Delirious, would not fly today. Mel Brooks movies, Blazing Saddles, they would not fly today. You can't make that movie.
I wish we could just bring George Carlin back and get a modern take from him on this because I feel like he had that stuff figured out.
He did.
Yeah.
I like his one phrase about it where he was just like,
The 7 words you can't say on TV would be completely different now. Oh, that's cool. And so in Norway, they actually have a TV channel that has their own comedy satire shows. They put everything on one set. Like, but we would try that in America.
That,
But
again,
people would be like,
that prefaces it, though. That gives
Yeah.
you, hey, you're going to see this, and this is all that you're going to see. I'm for that
so
idea.
it's like a specific channel based on that.
Like I said, that
theme.
Sunny
Yeah.
episode, I think is very funny. But if you're
the
not,
gang becomes black.
if you're not a Sunny fan, and you're like, wow, you just blatantly did that.
No, which one are you talking? Because they did it in a few episodes.
So-
D goes blackface a bunch of times, a few times. And
Dee
then
does-
the Lethal Weapon
Dee
episode
makes
where they
herself Latino, which is always it's done so poorly that it's like, it's hilarious. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's satirical. But again, if you're not following the show, you
Mhm.
might just be like, wow, they did that. There's actually 2 episodes where Charlie just says a hard N-bomb, two separate episodes.
And they also say
And-
the F word that's not fuck in that episode
Correct.
as well. Yeah.
The pilot
They-
of Sunny, he
they-
says the N-word too.
They did it on purpose to see if they can get away with saying it on TV.
Mhm.
That's literally why they did.
But
That's the
they
episode
did
where the
that
lottery ticket.
15 years ago
Yeah.
was the first time they had Charlie say that. And I remember seeing it, and like there's no preface for it at that point. There's no, hey, this is
Shock
satire,
value.
and it was like, holy shit, like,
Yeah.
why did they do that? Now, if I watch it again, like I have the whole series in my head. I think it's funny how they do it,
Yeah.
how they use it as satire. But that initial time was for sure shocking.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they probably
I mean,
went
it was
for.
shocking that
Yeah.
the second time they did it too, 10 years after the fact. But
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm not saying what's right or wrong, but I definitely think it's something that.
Levo says the channel is owned by the government and it's free for everyone. They're kind of making satire themselves. It's awesome.
I do like that.
So the
wish-
government's like making fun of themselves a little bit.
When
or?
you can make a joke at your own expense
Mhm.
and not be upset by it is like, I feel like that's a sign of being mature.
Yeah.
I think our government should do that a little bit. Like, hey,
How
we
many
messed up,
members of
let's
our
make a joke.
government do you think you could make a joke at their expense and they wouldn't be?
I mean, we do it with our president every day.
yeah,
but he
he's
doesn't
big
like
mad
it,
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he liked it, then it'd be different. But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do it. We still do it though.
Yeah, and he's big mad, and I love that. It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's funny to see
what
him
is the
mad.
what is the perception of America from people in Norway? Like what do you guys look at us and be like, man, these guys are fucking idiots? Like what do you what is the You're not gonna offend me. I'm just curious what the outside world thinks
it's
of
true.
us
I'm
here in
curious
America.
too sometimes because it feels like we don't get to see another perspective.
Yeah. I
We
mean,
only see our own.
well, here's the thing. Like when the whole like Black Lives Matter thing was going, other countries were protesting and marching for us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like people in Japan were protesting. So like
don't-
other people in other countries are like, "Yo, you guys are a little too much." You know?
I hate the opposition to Black Lives Matter. People are like, oh, well, all lives matter. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't fucking matter right now.
Yeah.
Like,
so here's
save
the thing.
the whales does not mean fuck the rest of the ocean.
Yes. So what that means? So this is probably gonna get me in trouble once again. But there are people who say all lives matter that are just like, f that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think there are people who don't truly understand the fact that there is racism and that this is actually going on.
There are
So-
some parts of this country that you may not ever experience that part of life that is racism. It's very
We're
strange.
living in one. There are people in our county still who never really had. I mean, besides going to a grocery store and maybe seeing somebody of color, they've never had an interaction with somebody. Like they've never had one in their house. They've never had. Now, when I say one, they've never had a person of color in their house. They've never opened the door to learn about somebody else.
I grew up in Kensington in North Philly, so like I was a minority for most of my life.
Mhm.
And then when I met my ex-girlfriend, she lived up in Wyoming County,
Mm-hmm.
and she was telling me like she'd maybe seen 4 or 5 black people in her entire life
Yeah.
that weren't on TV, and I was like, that's mind blowing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went to school she went to a New York State college. I won't name drop whatever, or SUNY, whatever she was at.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm like outnumbered here. I was like, well, yeah,
They feel
it's
they
a
legit
state school, so
Well, what's the
you
thing?
get more financing
She's
towards
been
inner city.
She's been systematically taught her whole life that and I could be wrong, but I mean this is something that I was kind of raised up and taught. You know, as long as probably most white Americans in our situation were that like if you see a black person like you're taught fear first.
Mhm.
You are, and that's not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if oh don't go to this neighborhood at dark. You're gonna get beat up, and it's like I've been to those neighborhoods at dark, and I've never
I got
had
a lot
an
of
issue.
friends in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, and I've
It's-
never had an issue. Now listen, like you know what I mean? Like when someone's like, "Don't come, like don't go to the hood at night." Like I've been to those. Like I played. Like I've been there. Like if you're not looking for trouble, you're not going to get it. Just like if you were like, and then like black people are taught, don't go to an all white neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like it's just we're literally taught by media, by movies, by culture the entire time to be afraid of each other. But once you break down that walls and actually like meet people and actually experience it, it's really not. Once again, the people in the middle are living a life, and then the people on the right and left have different views on things. You know, is there racism? 100%.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to downplay that at all because it's a 100% a thing. It's just I don't know. It's strange. Like once again, no one has all the answers. I think a lot of times we're very quick to pull the trigger and jump the gun on issues and topics without really like talking things out and meeting in the middle and finding out how we can change things. It's just like, no, I want to change and I want to change right now. Like, unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I'm on the side of, all right, I'm on your team. What can we do to make things right? What can we do
Yeah.
to make things the way that they should
And
be?
at the end of the day, like we have to also realize too, we the system that was designed for us as poor people, regardless of what your color is, we're not designed to have a say in anything. We're really not. We're designed to just wake up, eat, sleep, shit, go to work, pay our bills, pay our taxes, and die.
Pay for the people above us.
Yeah, and that's what's great. We're paying for the people above us, but the second that that we're told that we're paying taxes to help someone who's poor, we get mad at the poor people. But there's people up top who have trillions of dollars who aren't going to ever use that. But we get mad at someone on welfare. Like
The people who get mad about like taxing the wealthy and stuff like that, it's always people are like, well, what if I'm wealthy one day? I'm like, I can guarantee you that you're not ever going to be wealthy. You're like just help not only help people who are less fortunate than you, but like help yourself. This is going to be good for you. Like
I say it as joke and satire because I mean, if it happens, fantastic. But I'm not putting my eggs in this basket. But if this podcast or any of this stuff ever kicks off, and I get paid enough money that I can take care of my family, trust me, dude, everyone's made it. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're all eating. You know what I mean?
How
like,
I am.
You need a camera? I got you. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
how I would do the same thing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, listen, if a contract was called right now and they're like, hey, you made X amount of dollars, before I go pay, one of my favorite bands in Pottsville, listen, I'm making sure me, my family, and my mother, my father, my mother-in-law, they're all taken care of. And then once I'm kind of like, okay, I can keep what I'm doing going, dude, we're eating. Everyone's eating. I mean, I'll do whatever I can to help you.
By no means successful in the things that I do, but anything I do, you got Cool Dave on there. Any show that I've ever been a part of, all right, well, Dave's taking pictures, right? Yeah. Anything that I've ever been,
I've appreciated
anytime that I do any touring with any bands or anything, I'm like, all right, well, Philly area, I need a photo pass for this day. That's just how I always am. You take care of the people.
You remember people, and that's important because like that's something that's been done with me. Like where I'm like, hey, you put some people first, and then sometimes it doesn't really come back to you. I don't get upset about it. Just like, all right, cool. I kind of know where I stand there. You know what I mean?
Vivo says we think Trump is a little insane, and we have health care, but we kind of understand why you guys don't have it, but not totally.
It's a mess.
We don't have it because of the way that our taxing is set up.
Well, once again, that kind of goes to where we have a section of our country who are brainwashed that we shouldn't help poor people, but we want to give more money to rich people. Where realistically,
Vivo's got to get out of here.
Hey man, thank you so much for hanging out and typing and chatting, man. Yeah, definitely hit that follow, subscribe, or whatever it is on Twitch. Like I said, below is all of our social medias. Hit me up, dude. I would love to have you on and have a conversation about Norway, man. I've never been there, and I would love to learn about the history of what you know. And I think it'd be a cool little. We could do a Zoom call
where you drink Einstuck the whole time,
dude. If you want to,
wonderful.
If you want to find a way to ship, if you want to find a way to ship beer, let me know. I'm sure that's probably illegal in Pennsylvania, but we'll figure something out. I think it's illegal to ship it to New York.
I don't know.
Pennsylvania's we're not allowed to have like anything shipped here usually.
So I think legally I could ship it to New York, which is like my dad's address, and then I could just bring it home. We'll figure something out.
I don't really like to, take many sides on many things or attack anything in particular. But can we tax the church yet?
Exactly, dude. If one church was taxed, like one church that makes billions of dollars, that's enough to pay for healthcare.
Vivo says he's coming back next time. We'll be happy to have you, dude.
Well, the interview shows they're sporadic. They just kind of pop up. So if you follow the channel, you'll see when we go live. But usually we go live every other Tuesday at 9:00 for Not Cool in High School. Friday night we drink beers on Bangin' Beers, and Thursday night we talk pro wrestling. So we have a bunch of different channels going on, man. So definitely thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it.
But I've read several statistics on it that one said if we taxed the church, we would clear our national debt in 7 years.
Yeah,
which is a lot. Our debt is disgusting. And then I also read another one that said if we tax the church, the average person would pay 3% in taxes.
Yeah.
Right now
that's
we're
just
close
church.
to 30.
We're not talking Microsoft and Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon didn't pay taxes last year, which blows my mind.
Yeah, we're not even talking about major corporations. That's just church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the only reason I guess they don't tax them is because of the separation of church and state. So like religion is technically not allowed
But they have they have their hand in our laws. And we're supposed to have church and state.
They're not supposed to, but like it's somehow the line got blurred.
Yeah.
And that it needs to not be blurred anymore.
It's like we want to help write your laws, but we don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Is like the separation is.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Dave and I actually used to work at a supermarket together.
Oh yeah.
And when anything church related would come through, they actually have like a little card, and they go, "Oh, by the way, we're tax exempt," and they give you this card, and then you have to take the tax off of their entire sale, which I always thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm. And it's usually a big amount too. Sometimes if they'll order like $400
they'll
worth
come
of
through
groceries,
hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of groceries.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the groceries are for always.
They'd probably take it and feed the people in their church.
But that was my first introduction. I was
not.
like 15. That was my first introduction to knowing that the churches didn't get taxed.
Now, where did you guys actually meet?
grocery store, right?
I think that was the first time we actually hung out. We worked at Redner's together when I was like 15.
And we're not obviously not School County.
Quakertown.
So
Bucks County.
you were kind of raised in the area he was raised.
I moved to Quakertown around high school.
Okay.
And then I went to high school there, and then I moved back to Philly afterwards, and then I moved from Philly. I lived out on the farm in Wyoming County for like 2 years or something.
Yeah, if you could just kill the vibrate function, that'd be.
And then back to Philly, and then back, and that's when I first came up here. Was 2013, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Bird brought me up this way.
And how did you meet? How did you come across all those guys that like come up this way?
So the first time I met Bird was so I had seen Cyanide Sunrise perform several times. The first time I saw them was at Croc Rock in Allentown, and I think both times I saw them was at Croc Rock. But the first time I saw them, I remember I was like, "Wow, this band is really good." I was like, "Oh, I wonder who it is." And they're like, "Oh, we're Cyanide Sunrise from Long Beach, California."
Oh, because they always change their name in between every song.
Sometimes in between songs, sometimes just different sets. Bird just loved to not tell people where he was from.
And sometimes they would change their band name in between set lists.
Yeah. I went home and I was like, "Oh, well, I looked it up on Facebook and it said Cyanide Sunrise from Pottsville, Pennsylvania." I was like, "Oh, that's not the band I saw." I was like, "They said they were from California." So I didn't like the page or nothing. I just went about my life. And a couple months later, I'd seen them again. And actually, the reason I went to the show, they were opening for somebody. And I was like, "Oh, well, I like the band that's headlining." But I was like, "I remember that Cyanide Sunrise band." I was like, "I'm trying to see them again." And I went, and Bird goes, "Hey, we're Cyanide Sunrise from Anchorage, Alaska." I was like, "Oh, he's fucking with me." Like, that was definitely them from the Pottsville one. So I went home. I liked the Facebook page. A couple months go by, and they posted a thing. They're like, "Hey, is anybody available to drive our tour bus for this weekend tour this weekend or next weekend or whatever it was?" It was very short notice. It was like less than 2 weeks. And I was like, "All right, I'll do it." But I was working as a courier. I was delivering computer parts out of South Philly. And that day when I saw the post, it was like 9 a.m. and I was in Washington, D.C. on a delivery. And I was coming back home that day anyway. But I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do it." I was like, "Should we get together to make sure that we get along and it's not just going to be a terrible weekend for everybody?" I'm like, "Oh, all right." So I drove up to meet them at Cabela's, and I met at Cabela's. I met Bird, Twig, Joe Gray, and Meatball.
Okay.
Those were the four that came to meet me. We ended up hanging out in Cabela's for like 3 hours. Me and Bird just played the big hunting game for probably like an hour straight, just playing that. And me and Bird just hung out in Cabela's for 3 hours. And I was like, "You know what? This is going to probably be a good weekend." So we went our separate ways. We ended up both stopping at the same gas station for gas on the way out. And Bird's like, "On the way over to the gas station, I was talking to everybody." He's like, "You guys want to be our full-time driver?" I'm like, "Well, maybe." He was like, "Let's see how this weekend goes. Maybe we won't get along for more than 3 hours. Like, let me before I go committing anything."
Yeah.
So we went on this tour, the 3-day tour for the weekend. We take the bus. We're on Route 80 at like Danville, and the transmission blows on this bus. This is the first time that they took the bus out, by the way. This is the maiden voyage of this bus that they bought from somebody for like dirt cheap, like $1,500 or something. And
This is
thought
not
it
the,
was gonna last.
this is not the bus that they
Oh, it was the bus.
the one they converted into
Yeah.
like with a bunk seats
Yeah,
and
but
stuff.
they put all that work into the bunks and everything, and didn't put any work into the engine at all.
Yeah.
So blew the transmission on 80 on the way out. We're stranded on 80 for a couple hours trying to get somebody to come pick us up. Eddie Collins comes to pick us up. He's bringing cousin Dave's van, and now we're gonna put 8 people into cousin Dave's van and take it for these 3 days. Very much less comfortable than 8 people in a bus that's meant to sleep 10 people.
Yeah.
Now we have an 8-passenger van for 8 people to live in. So he comes to pick us up with Dave's brother, and the whole time Eddie's driving up, Bird's laying in his bunk and he's going, "He's shit." It's like, what? He's like, "Eddie Collins, he's shit. Eddie Collins is shit," the whole time for like an hour. I'm like, dude, like this dude's coming to rescue us.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, why are you calling him shit? Like, I've never met Eddie before at this point. And he gets there, and I was like, this is like such a nice dude. Why are you calling him shit? He's like, oh, it's just a thing. Like, that's just a thing that we do. All right. So we go about our way. We do that weekend tour. I ended up becoming best friends with Bird like instantly over that tour.
Yeah.
We ended up moving in together less than 3 weeks after the end of that tour. I always tell people we did a trip to Florida about 2 weeks after I met him. He just calls me up. I was sitting at home, and he goes, "Hey, do you want to go to Florida with me?" I was like, "Yeah, when do you want to go?" And he goes, "Oh, I was thinking about leaving tonight." What? Like, that's how sporadic this dude was.
Listen.
That's who he was. It was all short notice. I was like, well, all right, sure. Like,
That's like hanging out with Fulton.
I was like, so, like, you want to drive the bus down? Like, what do you want to do? He goes, well, we'll just fly. It'll be faster. I was like, dude, like, I don't have money for that. He goes, oh, well, I just got my paycheck, so I'll pay for it. Like, that's also who he was. He was like the nicest dude. He would cover everything. If he was asking you to do something, he was probably going to pay for it too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really, I'm not really comfortable with that. Like, I've
You're
only
just
known
like
you
me.
like 2 weeks. And he's like, oh no, don't worry about it. I'll call you back in a few minutes. And he calls me back and he goes, well, if I buy plane tickets, I don't really have money for us to do anything while we're there. So maybe we'll just drive down. So I just got in the car, drove over, picked him up, and we drove down to Florida on a whim. And we get down there and we're meeting people that like he's known for years. Like, oh, how long have you known Jay? Like, you guys are really close. Like, oh, I met him 2 weeks ago at Cabela's. What? Like, you met him 2 weeks ago? You drove all the way down here? They're like, yeah, it was something to do. Like,
That's one of my goals I want to do. That's one of the things I really, really want to do for the show is I want to get, I only have 6 mics, and I know to find 6 people and leave somebody out, it would fucking be a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to do, even if it's a 2-parter, like maybe change the 6 people or the 5 people, because obviously I would need a mic. But I want to do a Jaybird episode.
that'd be awesome.
I just think it's really important to do because my interaction to the music scene was through the Cyanide Sunrise and Crowbot because my cousin Brian was friends with Jaybird and he was friends with Bishop and he's like, yo, and he actually took me, I was fresh 21 and he's like, yo, we gotta go see this band. I'm like, what are they called? He goes, they're called Head Plug. And I was like, all right, whatever. And he goes, you know the band Breaking Ben? And I was like, yeah. He goes, their original bass player is like the bass player of this band, and the front man of the band is like my best friend. And I was like, well, all right, cool, I'm there. So I go see this band, and this guy gets on stage with his weird haircut, and he's just a fucking psychopath, and he's jumping all over the place. He's spitting on people. He's jumping off the stage. He's literally Billy Joe from fucking Green Day in a fucking dive bar outside of Hazleton, and it was Randy.
Fucking Randy.
So when you see Randy live, it sticks.
Oh, yeah.
You don't forget that.
Yeah,
That's true.
he performs his ass off.
In front of 10 people, in front of 100 people, in front of 2 people. He's giving you the same
Drunk,
performance.
sober, doesn't
drunk,
matter.
sober. Sometimes he's sober, looks drunk. Sometimes he's drunk, looks sober. It's just he's a genius. He's really good at what he does. And I remember seeing that performance. I was like, man, I don't think I've ever seen anyone that good ever. Like, he was so talented. Like, he was just good at what he did, and he was so fucking entertaining. It was a good show. So then years later, he's like, yo, me and my cousin Brian start getting close again, and he's like, there's a show in your neck of the woods. If you come pick me up, and we'll go up. I can get you on the list. I'm like, dude, I'll pay. I don't care. So it's good. It's me, my cousin Brian, and Heidi at the time. And we're going to Goodfellas, and we're going to see 5 bands for $3, right?
That's cheap.
Yeah. Oh, wait till you hear the lineup. The opening band was called like Ghost something. It wasn't Ghost County, but it was like something, I don't know. But it was Tyler Smarr. It was Joe Coons and a few other people, and they were like a band. They're no longer together. So that was the opening band. They were all like underage. They were all like super young, but they got the bill. Then it went Faith in Exile. Then it went Crowbot. And then it was Cyanide Sunrise, and there was their show. The reason they did the show is they were about to go on tour, and they were debuting the Hourglass music video. So I go to the show, and Faith. I mean, I like Faith in Exile, but it's at the time like I was really tough on heavier music. It wasn't really my thing. I thought like, man, they're really good, but it's just not my cup of tea. So I kind of stayed at the table. I didn't really go up to the stage, and I was very new to the music scene. I didn't know anybody. You know what I mean? All I really knew was Brian. You know what I mean? So Brian, of course, introducing me to Jaybird, and I'm introducing to Bishop, and introducing to Brandon and Dave Cantwell, and me and Dave like kind of hit it off right away, and Dave was actually headbanging with me first time I ever met him, and his glasses flew off, and he fucking stomped on his own glasses, and he's like, "It's gonna be very hard to drum tonight."
Sounds like Dave.
Yeah. So then
He goes in.
Yeah, so this is before he even hits the stage. So he has no eyewear now for the rest of the night. So then we're all hanging out, we're having a great time, and that show really like got me introduced to like I want to say the crew, because our crew it's a wide net, man. It really, really is. Like, we may not all hang out at the same time, but there is a definite Crowbot, Cyanide, Faith music crew, and then it's just been latched on to other bands and other local, like it's like I don't want to say it's the Pottsville crew, but it's definitely like
it's the people that you would like to be associated with in this area,
dude, and
for sure.
everybody's
so supportive of everybody, which is
it is, and I
huge.
really attribute that whole group of friends and that whole group of support system to Jaybird. I truly do, and I've only hung out with the guy like 3 fucking times. But just like every single one of these people, like people, you would sit down and they're like, "Yo, you want to do Blackberry? We're doing it for Jaybird." And there's not a question asked. And even people who are new to the crew, who've never met him, are like, "Hey, you want to do that Blackberry shot again?" And then they don't even know why they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just a really cool thing, man. And it sucks we lost him, but just the impact he left is super important. It really, really is. Like I always say, like you may never think in your lifetime you leave a legacy behind. But it really depends on how you are. It's every day you wake up, you leave that legacy. And if by some unfortunate events or anything that can happen, if you leave tomorrow, man, how are people going to remember you? And I really think if there is an afterlife, or if he is looking down and he looks at this group of people, he's like, man, you know what I mean? Like it really sparks something.
for sure.
Yeah, man.
Blackberry brandy is how Eddie broke Edge at Bishop's wedding. We were insistent that there be blackberry brandy there, of course, because it's Bishop's wedding, and we're getting ready to do shots, and Eddie's standing next to me, and he goes, I kind of want to do this, and I was like, yeah, you probably should. I was like, this is literally the closest you're ever going to get to drinking with Bird, and he's like, all right, yeah, give it to me, and that's when we got him drunk. Well, I don't think he actually got drunk that night, but we did get him to drink a couple more beers after that, too, which was cool.
It's just a really. It's a lasting effect, man. It really, really is, and it for me, it sparked that night, like that show, and then it was just like, it's insane how you just answered a fucking Facebook ad. You know what I mean? Like it just, and it really, it's that simple. Like just to get into the group, it's just kind of like, are you a good person? Yeah, and then you're immediately accepted, man. And it's just, it's beautiful. It's something I cherish. I'm very grateful. You know, like Fulton, Cantwell, like. It would just be really cool.
I don't know Fulton as well as I'd like to. Like I know him and I see him and I like him, and I feel like
Fulton and Bird, I guess, were friends all through.
He separated from the group a little bit to do the music store. Like just as I came.
Well,
to be a part of
Fulton's thing, without kind of telling his story, but kind of like what I would assume, I guess I'm not speaking for him, is, you know, he wanted to, like, everybody wanted him to go on tour, and but he's like, I can't do traveling musician. Like, he's talented enough to do it. He's talented enough to get into a band and go do whatever he wants to do. But he has a commitment to his dad's store because for how much his dad means to him. You know what I mean? And the reason his dad made that store is to give people in our area a place to go buy strings, to go buy a drum head if they need it last minute. You know what I mean? Like, if you're stuck in the area and you're like, shit, I need something for the show, you're probably going to Fulton's.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because there's really nothing else in the area unless you're driving to Reading to go to Guitar World or something like that. But they're like his dad created that store for that reason because he knew the need in the area for the local musicians, and Steve just couldn't. And I respect that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For how talented he is, he kind of he wants to live, and then now he has a daughter and an amazing wife and a great family, and he's
Yeah,
he's
I'd
here.
love to see more of him.
Yeah,
honestly.
and what he does now is he does lessons. Like a lot of people don't realize a lot of his, besides buying music and going to support his band, he's bringing up the next generation of musicians. Like he's teaching people how to play guitar and drum. Like I mean he has people that teach other people drums, but you can get lessons at his store. So like the music scene in this area has a whole underground history, and it doesn't even start at the story we just said. I mean, like Eddie Collins' dad. Like there's so many
Dude, his
old.
dad was so incredible.
Dude, there's like and I mean, you can literally take apart School County and people think we're just a small area. And then you're like, well, there's a whole underground like firefighter community. There's a whole underground this community. And just like what we just talked about here is just scratching the surface of the music. And that's just 1/10 of what's happening in our area. You know what I mean? So it's like when people say there's nothing to do here, you're just not looking.
Yeah,
You're really just not looking.
you're just not at the right place.
Yeah,
that's
and
all.
you're probably just not with the right people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Really true. The people make definitely
There's-
whatever you're doing better.
Every time I was actually just talking to Dave about this the other day. He's like, man, everybody out in the Pottsville area, he's like, they're always so cool. He's like, everybody out there is so awesome. I was
We
like,
just accept each other.
I was
man.
like, no, the people that you met are awesome. I was like, the
There's a
people
lot of
that you
shitheads.
haven't met are people you don't need to.
yeah.
Like you're in with the right group from this area.
That makes sense.
You can walk, like, I can walk into any place in a 3-town radius of where I'm at right now, and people will be like, holy shit, hey, man. And it's not a handshake, it's a hug. It's like, that's just what we do, man. It's just, we look out for each other, we support each other, and it's awesome.
My only issue is whenever I go out in this general area, I tend to get drunk, and then like I meet people or I re-meet people, and then I'll meet them like 3 months later. I'll be like,
Happens.
oh, it's awesome to meet you. They'll be like, dude, I've known you for like 4 years. Oh
I'm
shit,
so,
dude,
I am
I'm
so
sorry.
Yeah,
Like
that happens.
and it happens to me more often than I'd like to admit. My memory is just awful.
Beers happen, man. Beers
Yeah.
happen.
Even not beers. My memory is terrible.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, like up here, it's a lot different than like Quakertown. Like Quakertown is full of like terrible people.
Yeah.
There's not the good group of people
No,
like there is up here.
It's
It's
weird.
just like everybody's the same group of people.
And I mean, like, and I'm not to like bring it back or get like upset again, but like, I think a lot of the reason why we kind of hang on to each other harder is because we lose him. You know what I mean? And people are like, "Fuck!" Like, if it happens to him, it can happen to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, if we lose him, fucking no one's invincible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you hold on to each other tighter. You're like, no, man. Like we look out for one another. You know what I mean? It's
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you Bird is the reason I have the nickname Cheesefoot?
Yeah, I think
And I'm cool, Dave, because of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Twig told me the Cheesefoot story, but I was drunk in a bar.
It's the worst story of all time. We were on the bus doing that tour. Before
Did
the
you
bus,
have stinky feet?
No,
Oh.
it was before the bus even blew up with the transmission. Bird goes, he sits down next to me, and he goes, "Hey, can I call you Cheesefoot?" I was like, "Why? Like, why the fuck would you want to call me that?" He goes, "I don't know. I've just always wanted a friend named Cheesefoot." He said, "I tried to give the nickname to somebody else once, and it just didn't fit." I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna see you again after these 3 days. I don't give a shit. Call me whatever."
Yeah.
And then we ended up becoming best friends, and it goddamn stuck. And then there was a point. I swear to God, there was a point where we were on the road. It was like maybe a month later, and he's like, "Oh, don't hate me." I was like, "What?" He goes, "I don't remember what your real name is to tag you on Facebook." He goes, "I know it's Ron something." He goes, "I can't remember."
You know the funny thing is, so many people have fucking nicknames. When I go to like look for them on Facebook, I'm like, what the fuck is their real name? Because we
Right.
gave them a stupid nickname.
That's how I
And
knew.
he's just
half
sitting
the
next to me, and he
people
goes,
up here is their
"Oh,
nickname.
don't hate me." I'm
Dude,
like,
me and Steve Fulton hung out every single day for almost 2 years. Almost every single day. Minus like the days, like one. So I tell this a lot on the podcast. So if you're hearing me saying it again, I'm sorry. But I'd go to work Monday, and I'd work Monday through Thursday. I would pack a bag Thursday night, or like and then Thursday after work, I would go right to Steve Fulton's house. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was with him and with the band. Don't know how I'm still married. My wife is a fucking super accepting person. She's fucking fantastic, but I literally would not see her all weekend. And that was like every weekend for 2 years. Like people didn't even think I was really married. You know what I mean? Or I was just a scumbag. I mean, realistically, I was a scumbag, but I was helping my buddies out and I was making sure they were getting home safe. But literally for those almost 2 years, I never got Steve's actual phone number. We were just Facebook calling each other.
I have so many friends like that. You're one of those people. I don't have your phone number. I don't need it. Is the thing. Like we live in a world where I don't need anybody's phone
It's
number.
true.
When
It's
I have
weird.
Facebook.
And I was like, yo, Steve, I should probably get your real number. And he goes, nah, I think it's funnier that we don't.
that's such a bird thing too. Like you're like we don't need it. It's
Well, I
all
guess
right.
from what like when Steve would tell me more bird stories, like Jay Bird stories, it was just like I guess they grew up kind of more together.
Mhm.
Like I guess they were a lot closer when they were younger.
Yeah.
And like some of the stories is like, oh fuck, like if Jay Bird was half of what Steve was or Steve is like, oh, we probably would have got along. You know what I mean? Yeah. It would have been me going like, how the fuck am I gonna get my two friends out of this situation? Because I'm always like the dad or worrier, and like, and Steve just like, he's here, we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like,
Bird never worried about anything.
Never.
He'd be like,
Yeah.
wow,
That's
this
how
is gonna
Steve
be
is. Like
terrible.
Steve sometimes
He's
just
like, "Nah,
fucking
that's cool."
he just
What do
turns
you
it off
mean?
and just says it'll all work out.
Yeah,
Just shooting in the dark.
but it does.
It does.
doesn't
It always works out. Like the one day he's like, hey, going to the casino. I'm like, it is 3 a.m. He's like, it'll all work out. And I'm like, it's going to work out because I'm going to be the one to make it work out. He's like, we always need people like you.
Yeah, but and then he doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
Somebody
that's
else will
true.
do it. So that was how Bird always was. You don't have to worry about it.
Somebody will carry me home.
It'll happen. Always.
Oh my
Loved
God.
it.
Yeah, but I definitely want, I mean, we just gave you a taste there. I mean, I would love to have a bunch of people on the table.
I'll tell you how I met Randy.
Well, definitely through Bird.
It was through Bird.
Yeah.
But Randy was in Alaska when I first started coming out here.
Real quick before because you're kind of bringing this together. So the first time I see Jay Bird perform on stage, right? And I was like, hey man, Brandon's a whole nother beast. When I seen Brandon on stage, I was like, man, this is like, I remember like watching old school music videos of my dad's favorite bands. And I was like, this is like the reincarnate of like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like early Crowbot, you were like, wow, this is modern Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Or like Cornell, but more flashier. You know what I mean? Like it was just everything I liked about music. It was like your dad's rock.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing to say at all. You know what I mean? But, and then I seen Jay Bird, and I remember after the show, we were hanging out. I still have the picture of me, him, and Heidi at the bar. I still have the zombie unicorn shirt, but
Oh,
it
I got
doesn't
one
fit
of
me.
them.
And Heidi has the skulls with the hourglass.
I gave most of my shirts away.
Yeah.
Just every time I would meet somebody, and it was just, I guess it was the Bird coming out of me. It was just like, you'd meet somebody and they'd be like, oh man, like that's awesome that you have. I'd be like, well, you have it now.
Yeah.
Like I'm wearing it. Here, you can just
My
have
goal
it.
is to lose weight so I could fit back into that shirt. And I have the original Crowbot with the bird with the
Nice.
spit. Yeah. So I said to him, like, yo, man, I said, there's not many people in my life that I've seen perform on stage that just captivates people the way you do. I said, but there's this fucking psychopath that my cousin Brian took me to see. I don't even know his name, but he's a fucking idiot. Like he's just a fucking psycho. And like you remind me so much of him. Like you guys are the same people on stage. And then I'm like, Brian, and he goes, what? And he goes, who's the fucking guy you took me to see in that band, the head plug or whatever? And Jaber goes, Randy. And I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, I got a lot from him. Like he openly said, like a lot of his style came from Randy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay. And he goes, oh, we're really good buddies. I was like, oh, it's funny how it all kind of
I
connects.
actually just gave away all my old Crowbot shirts that didn't fit anymore.
Really?
I don't know if you saw on the Crowbot Beardos page.
I still have to order that guy's
that
one shirt.
sticker giveaway.
COVID happened. I have
Yeah.
to order. I still have his
I
information.
gave away. I was like, all right, well, I'm giving away these shirts too. I was like, I really hope whoever wins wears a large because you're getting a shirt. You think you're getting a sticker, but you're getting a shirt.
Surprise. Yeah, I have to order. I think the shirt he wanted, I think, just went out of stock. So I'm waiting for them to fill their stock up and then order him a shirt. But I did not forget about you. If you are watching or listening, I didn't forget about you, dude. You're still getting a T-shirt on me, but COVID happened. You know?
When I first met Randy, we were at the apartment in St. Clair, and it was me and Bird and Meatball were both
the one
there.
a couple doors down from the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in that apartment, and they keep telling me about Randy. They've been telling me about Randy for the month that I've been there. I'm like real stoked to meet Randy because I hear nothing but incredible things about him.
You're like, when Randy gets here, it's going to be a fucking crazy
Here's
night.
the problem. Every time I hear Randy, nobody ever just said Randy. Meatball and Bird were both saying Fat Randy. Every time Randy's name was said, I heard Fat Randy. Fat Randy this, Fat Randy that. Fat Randy is great. You're going to love Fat Randy. Like, I thought that was part of his name at that point. And then he shows up and he walks through the door. I was like, this is Fat Randy? Like, are you fucking with me right now? It's like, Meatball, you're calling this guy Fat Randy? Like he's not at all fat. Not even a little. And they're like, well, yeah, he used to be skinny.
Yeah.
Like, well, he's not fat. Like,
yeah.
it's like, Meatball, you're calling him Fat Randy. You're like, oh, this is Fat Randy's jacket. Meatball was wearing Fat Randy's jacket. And I was like, all right, well, it's a 2X sports coat. I was like, Fat Randy's probably big. In comes Randy, and it turns out it's just a thrift store jacket he liked a bunch. I was like, God fucking damn it. Like,
Randy will literally wash himself with a baby wipe, not comb his hair, throw on a thrift store, go walk to the thrift store, put a pair of pants on and a new jacket on, and go to the bar, drink, and then hang out with you all day long.
And that's his move.
I love
that. And he kills it in that.
I tied his shoe one time outside of Trenton. I was like, Randy, yo, your shoe's untied. And he's like, no, it's not. I was like, yeah. Give me a second. I tied his shoe for him. He's like, you're the best, dude.
I love it. One of my first interviews was Randy, and this typical Randy fashion, he calls me and he goes, hey, I'm coming over. I was like, okay, yeah, we have an interview today. He goes, all right, I'm leaving wherever I'm at now. I forget what he said. And he's like, I'll be there in like an hour and a half. By the way, I'm bringing a box full of cats. Click.
I remember that. He was traveling with cats. He
And
brought them from Detroit.
And I said, well, I don't think I've ever had cats in my house, and I don't know how my dog's going to handle this. So I have to obviously lock my dog up. So he literally brings in a box of fucking kittens in a stove box. And he puts them, he's like, they'll just stay in here. All right, hit record. And we literally were hanging out, and we hit the record button, and the cat's hand pops up like Jason fucking Returns. And they just fucking bust out of the box and just start running around the house. And he's like, nah, we'll figure it out. Let's just do the show. And like, there's cats fucking running and jumping.
Amazingly, he homed all of those cats.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But I think people were probably just like, oh, we got to take these cats so Randy doesn't have them.
Yeah. They were adorable. The funniest was he brings these cats to then Steve's apartment. Steve Fulton is deathly allergic to cats. And Kendra is just cuddling this cat in bed with her. And Steve has his hoodie like Kenny from South Park, zip tight. His eyes are swollen shut. He's like, Kendra, please get that cat out of our bed. I'm not going to be able to sleep there.
I'm allergic to cats, dogs, and I found out I'm allergic to my bunny. But I love cats and dogs, and I have a bunny.
Yeah.
And I'll put them all in my bed. I'll be like, I'm going to hate this later, but
What
I'm
happens?
going to love you right now. My eyes get scratchy, and, it gets a little bit hard to breathe. I get real phlegmy, the fun stuff. It's nothing. I won't die,
I'm a little bit allergic to my
but
cat.
it's
Really?
they're too cute to not.
Take
not
Claritin
love.
every day.
Just like, I'll take a medication for you, buddy.
I don't even take anything. I'm like, I'm going to love this cat and just be miserable.
So I know he was doing a giveaway here on the chat, but I don't know if we have anybody. But we do have the Cheesefoot logo. We have the Cheesefoot red and white ball, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all available on T-shirts as well, right?
When you got to collect them all.
Yeah. This looks is just like a dinosaur made of cheese, and
Cheese
it's it's holographic like a Charizard.
When you're a Rugrat, you love that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
And these are all available on Teespring as well. If you go to your Facebook page, you can see this, right?
Yes, sir.
And this one's just the Bigfoot, the big Cheesefoot.
Foot of cheese.
Also holographic like
Yeah.
Charizard.
Charizard Rare Edition. And then we got these cool bumper stickers. Look at this thing.
Dumb long.
One
When that
foot.
first came in, I said, holy shit, why are these so big? Like, I knew the dimensions when I ordered it.
And like I said, you could order all this stuff off his website, or if we're doing a giveaway. So if
Stickers are always free. If you see this and you want any stickers, just hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pornhub, whatever you got. You search the Cheesefoot on it. I'll be on there.
Dave has stickers as
I'll
well.
mail
You
them
could,
to
you
you.
could hit him up. He has his
Yeah.
little
Free as well.
his little holographic polywag. See, I did that
It-
because of the A. See
Yeah.
that? And then his decapitated head.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Again,
then I think-
stickers are always free. If you want them, you just ask me, and I give it to you.
I have stickers as well, but I've been giving them away to my guests. But if you hit me up in between there,
I don't know.
you can get one of these as well. These are, but you can order stickers as well on Teespring if you're not from around here and you just want to order it to be done with. What else do I got over here? Oh, I have the big head. There it is here.
They're so funny. I love them.
Can we?
That's not Charlie Day. That's
It's a
Dave.
wild card.
And then I just got this bestowed on me today. That makes me very happy. I'm gonna put profanity on my car.
We have to.
Yeah, that's going on there. I appreciate that, man.
So I sold pins. I collect RuneScape pins. A little bit of nerd thing.
Okay.
But I sold pins to this guy, and it turns out he makes vinyl for a living.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if you ever need any stickers, just let me know. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I don't plan on, buying any stickers. I was like, maybe I'll have him make me some Cheesefoot ones at some point, and we'll see how they look.
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking about guns, and I was like, oh, well, I'm putting these on my rifle case. And he's like, oh, well, what do they look like? And I sent him a picture, and I was like, they're not really sticking very great. He's like, well, how old are they? I was like, 6, 7 years, something like that. And he goes, oh, well, vinyl's only good for usually about 5. He goes, send me a closer picture of that, and I'll have them made. He goes, you send me a closer picture of that, and I'll recreate it, and I'll print them out for you. I was like, oh, no shit. So he sent me 5 of these, and he actually sent me one where the T is reflective. So when you shine a light on it, it reflects it back.
The upside down crosses.
Which is
It's really
awesome.
cool.
It's
Oh
really
my
cool.
God, that's awesome.
I wonder if I have a picture of it, because it was so awesome.
And you don't even notice it until it hits
Yeah.
it with the right amount of light.
He said that he has a buddy who puts the reflective stickers on his windows. His windows are tinted. So from the outside, you can't tell that there's a sticker there. And then when light hits it, it reflects it. Which
Nice.
sounds really cool.
Yes. We're gonna wrap it up there. But if you want to, the links below, I'll have these guys send me their links, and we'll tag everything. But you can hit Dave up on his Instagram, Facebook under D Lorenzo or Dave Lorenzo, Cheesefoot under Cheesefoot Comedy, and then the Teespring site should be on there too, right?
Yes, sir. It'd be
Yeah.
right in there. Right
I gotta get this. If you order this in extra large, I'll just pick out a shirt, one of the other shirts, and I'll order you one, and we'll do a
I
shirt.
actually
trading.
don't have this one made yet.
You don't?
I'm actively looking for somebody else to print my things, because I think I'm going to keep them on hand for a better quality shirt.
Cool. Teespring, just heads up,
Mm-hmm.
if you get the premium shirt, though it's like a couple bucks extra. So I sell the regular shirts for 15. I sell the comfort ones for 20, and then the premium shirts, the logo quality is way better.
I'll have to check it out.
It's a much different.
I don't think I would offer anything other than that if I were to do that route.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell people, like, it sucks that I'm charging someone $25 a hoodie and $40 a hoodie and $20 for a shirt, but the premium is just a much nicer shirt, and it comes out a lot better.
I'll have to check it out.
And I have to show you something then too, because it might be the logos. I'll have to show you something when we get off. But that'll wrap it up for Interviews with Everyday People. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, if you check the replay out, go follow us over on Twitch. You can follow us on YouTube under IwEP Network. I believe that one's over here, right here. And then
I pointed the wrong way.
Same.
Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9. Check all that stuff out. And we're here all the time doing stuff on Twitch. So if you follow us on Twitch and hit that notification or whatever it is, let you know that we're going live, you can tune in every time. I think the goal is now we hit the 50 subscribers. We need the active viewers while we're going. So we need that number to go up.
I can give you a hand on that kind of stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I have the subscribers. I hit the 50. Obviously, it says right there. But we just need the rest of it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and enjoying the interview. And thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it.
Always fun to be here.
We'll see you guys next time. Interviews with Everyday People. Number 81. We're done.
Ooh, 81.
Do